In this video for Positive Maths, we're going to look at rounding and significant numbers. So we can be asked to round to the nearest 100, to the nearest 10, to the nearest whole number, or to a certain decimal place. We just want to note that when dealing with money or any questions where we have to calculate money, we should always round to 2 decimal places. So even if we're not asked to, we should always give our answer to 2 decimal places. So the rule is the same really for all instances, no matter what we're asked to round to. First thing we need to do is find the required number space. So is it a whole number? Is it a tenth or a hundredth? Look at the number to the right. If that number is 5 or more, then we add 1 to the number space. If it's 4 or less, we cancel all the numbers to the right. So we'll have a look at a few examples and make sense of these steps. So you can make up kind of little rhymes sometimes to help yourself remember. One example here is just on the right. Find your number, look next door, 5 or more, add 1 more, 4 or less, just ignore. Okay, so let's look at some examples. First thing we want to do is round 564 to the nearest 100. Okay, so 100 then, our first step is our number place. So we're looking at our 100 space, which is 5. Then we look next door to the right. So we're looking at the number 6 now. If that is greater than 5, which it is, then we add 1 number onto the space. So we're rounding 564. It's going to go to 600. So to the nearest 100. Okay, we're going to round 21 now to the nearest 10. So it's the 10 space we're looking at. That is not 5 or more, so it's 4 or less. So that means we cancel the numbers to the right to 0. So that means our 21 is just going to go to 20, so to the nearest 10. Okay, let's look at another example. We're going to look at decimal place rounding now. Okay, we have to round 3.48572 to 2 decimal spaces. So we're looking for our place first of all. We want to have it to 2 decimal spaces, so we want to stop at the space 8. That's our space. Now we found that, we look to the right and we see it's 5. So that means we add on 1 to 8 to get 9. So 3.48572 is now going to be 3.49. So 5 means that we add on 1 to the number on the left. Next example. Round 38572 to 4 decimal spaces. Okay, so we go to our 4th space. It's a 7. We look to the right. That's less than 5. That means we just cancel all the numbers after 7. So this is just going to go to 3.4857. Okay, so it's just a really good idea to continue practicing rounding. And if it's something that you find difficult, you really need to practice it because it comes up all the time in exam questions. You always have to check that at the end of answering a question, have you rounded it to the number that they've asked you to? Now we're going to talk about significant figures. So the significant figures of a number are all digits except zeros at the start or at the end of a number. So let's look at 3 examples. 5.532, 25,000, 0.000253. So in our first number, all of these numbers are significant numbers because none of them are 0. In our next number, we have 2 significant figures. And in our last one, we have 3 significant figures. We can be asked to round to a significant number. It's not as common as being asked to round to a specific place, but we do need to be familiar with it as well. Okay, so let's look at how we do this. We want to write the following correct to one significant figure. Okay, so we have 32.14.14. Okay, so we want to round to one significant figure. So we look at the first significant figure. Okay, before we were looking at the place, now we're looking at the significant figure. We look to the right, we see it's less than 5. That means that after this place value, we cancel all the other numbers to 0. So we rounded 32.14 to 30. Now the number that we have has one significant figure. And it's 3 is a significant figure. Okay, our next example. 3.857. We want to write it correct to one significant figure. So we look at our first significant figure. Again, it's 3. This time we look to the right. We see that it's 8. So that means we add on 1 to 3. So we're going to get 4. So we rounded it to one significant figure. 19,345. Again, we look at our first significant figure. It's 1. We look to the right. We know that 9 is greater than 5, so we add on 1 to 1. So now our number is 20,000. So, in all of these 3 numbers now, we've rounded to one significant figure. Our significant figure in 30 is 3, significant figure in 4 is just 4, and our significant figure in 20,000 is our 2. So we have made these numbers that have, our first number has 4 significant figures, this has 4 as well, and this has 5. We have now changed them so that they are rounded either up or down slightly, and they have one significant figure each. For more videos, you can find us at www.PositiveMaths.ie. You can email us at info@PositiveMaths.ie and find us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching.